As a key player in the film industry, Laura often listens to numerous script pitches, most of which are lackluster. She remains courteous to avoid hurting feelings. One evening at a party, her ex-husband Tony confronts her with a made-up story pitch, criticizing her absence in their daughter's life. Ambitious and career-focused, Laura prioritizes work over family. Tony, a struggling screenwriter and recovering alcoholic, is battling depression that affects his writing. A heated argument ensues, during which Tony asks if Laura has arranged a birthday cake for their daughter. She claims she has, but later tells her assistant Christian to quickly get one. Soon after, Laura meets her rival Alba, who shares that billionaire Snail has landed his private jet nearby to scout for a star for his new project. Both women are eager for the opportunity and exchange jabs. In the reception area, Laura faces a crowd of reporters and approaches Snail's son, Sebastian, hoping for insights about his father's project. He mocks her outdated watch and mentions the recent deaths of two billionaires, ranting about older men, which inadvertently reveals that Alba has been chosen for the role. Heartbroken, Laura forces a smile for the cameras. Later, back at the party, she endures a conversation among Sebastian and other men who dismiss her and Alba. When the women finally have a moment alone, Laura sets aside her pride to congratulate Alba, expressing her satisfaction that if someone had to take the opportunity from her, she's glad it was Alba. Alba accepts the handshake, agreeing that women must support each other in this competitive industry. Tonight, Alba is about to present a film to a large audience, but she admits she hasn't seen it. Laura gives her a fake plot summary, leading to Alba's embarrassment as revenge. Meanwhile, Christian receives angry texts from Sebastian, and Laura gets a call from Tony, who is stranded at the airport due to a cancelled flight. Just as he starts to explain, the call drops. Christian checks the news and discovers the Pope has died, the third wealthy person to pass away recently. At the airport, Laura boards Snail's jet as a stand-in for Alba, but they leave Christian behind. During the flight, she talks to another passenger who mentions yet another rich man's death, and Laura is unsettled by the passenger's overly bright teeth. She video calls Tony and their daughter Anna for her birthday, but Anna, upset about their absence, hangs up without celebrating. Laura then asks Tony to sign the divorce papers, leading to a promise to meet in court. In the bathroom, Laura discreetly takes some expensive creams. On her way back, she notices the passenger's unnaturally bright teeth again. The plane lands in Alaska, and while others leave in cars, Laura is met by a sled dog team. The driver takes her phone and gives her furs for warmth, sharing that Snail is aggressively expanding his business with attractive salaries and benefits for new employees. The snowstorm conceals the plane's explosion. Laura is taken by sled to a settlement where Mr. Snail welcomes newcomers with a speech about Alaska's first settlers, emphasizing their hard work with a pickaxe. Guests are invited to a cabin for drinks as Snail laments the world's fragility and criticizes the younger generation for blaming the hardworking elite, whom he believes are part of the solution. The newcomers are chosen to join a new branch of his company focused on social initiatives like renewable energy. Laura eagerly signs a contract for shares and joins the festivities. During a smoke break, Snail chats with her about their children and encourages her to attend an auction at Buckingham Palace, suggesting she spend generously for the company. He gives her a book with a quote about wealth on the back cover. The next day, Laura leaves Alaska in Snail's helicopter with Mr. E, who jokes inappropriately about slavery, unsettling her. While flying, she tries to call Anna but gets no answer. Checking the news, she is shocked to learn of an attack on Buckingham Palace and that billionaires and leaders are mysteriously dying, with incidents being labeled as terrorist attacks or poison luxury goods. The term plutophobia, meaning hatred of the wealthy, emerges in the reports. When Laura arrives in London, she finds the streets in chaos. Christian reassures her that the situation is exaggerated, claiming the king is just unwell. However, their car is stuck in traffic, prompting Laura to reflect on her middle-class status compared to the elite. Despite rumors of terrorist threats, the auction at Buckingham Palace continues. Laura bids $2 million on a significant painting, but is interrupted by a call from Anna. Torn between the auction and her daughter, she secures the painting and steps away to talk, though the connection is poor. She notices a man with unusually bright teeth and suddenly screams erupt. Rushing back, she discovers the king in critical condition. In the following days, news reports highlight a mysterious flu affecting only the wealthy, sparking speculation about terrorism and conspiracy theories. The glowing teeth are identified as a flu symptom, leading to a halt in financial markets and demands for increased security. Christian proposes confining billionaires to prevent a public quarantine. Laura's mother calls to say Anna is with her in Spain. Later, at her company's London office, employees wear masks and Sebastian angrily confronts Laura, believing he deserved the position she received. He reveals that his father rejected him, leading him to escape to Alaska after hearing troubling rumors about draining the family wealth. Meanwhile, Sebastian has been misappropriating company funds for his own needs. Laura notices Sebastian's bright teeth and decides to leave. Christian rushes to inform her of a government-mandated state of emergency, which has canceled all flights. She insists he find her another way out, eager to reunite with her daughter, and advises him to leave the city quickly. Upon exiting the building, she sees soldiers guarding against protesters. She jumps into a company car and calls her broker about her stocks. The driver, overhearing her, quickly puts on a mask. The broker tells Laura that her stocks have skyrocketed due to the economic crisis, but he doesn't celebrate given the circumstances. Alarmed, Laura asks him to sell her stocks, but he explains the market is closed, leaving her with the options to spend or donate the money. She heads to her apartment to pack, but stops to check her teeth in the mirror. Suddenly, someone rings the doorbell, and she finds 3 soldiers who inform her of her selection for special protection. She can stay in her apartment or go to a secure location, and she chooses the latter. However, while grabbing her bag, she makes a quick escape through the window and descends the fire escape to her car. Moments later, as she drives out of the city, she sees graffiti calling for the elimination of the wealthy to control the virus. Eventually, she hits a traffic jam and decides to continue on foot, where she finds Christian, who has arranged a seat for her on an old private plane. A chaotic scene erupts as passengers rush to board the plane, and in a moment of anger, a man throws a woman's dog, which is tragically hit by another aircraft. Before takeoff, Laura pretends to worry that Tony is trying to take all her belongings in their divorce, asking Christian to protect her assets until they reach a settlement. However, he quickly realizes she plans to transfer her wealth to him and walks away without signing anything. Once everyone is on board, the plane jolts into the air. Laura calls Tony to say she'll be in Barcelona in 6 hours, only to find out he is at her mother's house too. She tries to protest, but the call drops due to poor reception. Tensions rise among the passengers as they discuss the events, leading to a heated argument. The situation escalates when they notice the man with the glowing teeth, causing fear of infection. The other passengers attempt to attack him, leading to a chaotic fight. In the melee, they accidentally pull a lever that opens the plane door, but the fighting continues. The man and the dog's owner engage in a fierce struggle, injuring each other, while another passenger takes the chance to kick them both out of the plane. Once the flight calms down, Laura checks her phone and learns that all billionaires are quarantined. Many are recklessly destroying their possessions in a panic over the illness dubbed the rich flu. When Laura arrives in Spain, she discreetly leaves the airport to call Tony. While waiting, she searches for information on Snail and finds articles stating he has disappeared without a trace, leaving his assets in shambles. Growing suspicious, Laura retrieves the book he gave her and rereads a specific quote, realizing there was never a project. Snail had merely used them. Laura screams in frustration and throws the book aside just as Tony arrives to pick her up. During their drive, he reveals the dire situation. All the wealthy have vanished, and no one is willing to work. When they hit a police roadblock, Laura worries about her bag containing her jewelry and cash. Tony scolds her, hides the bag, and pulls over for inspection. Their health checks go smoothly, but as an officer approaches, a truck crashes into the police barrier, causing a minor explosion. Seizing the moment, Laura and Tony quickly jump back in the car and escape. In the city, chaos erupts with explosions and riots as the government enforces emergency measures. They head to a small mountain town where they see houses covered in anti-wealth graffiti. Laura finds Anna enjoying herself with other teens, proudly wearing an anti-wealth t-shirt. Furious, Laura seeks out her mother, Marta, to express her anger about Anna's beliefs. Marta reminds her that Anna's safety stems from her own actions. Later, at a communal meal, the other diners eye Laura with suspicion. A kind man recognizes her watch, recalling that she bought it with her first paycheck, and admires that she still has it. Another man comments on the virus spreading through society and wonders when it will reach Laura. That night, Laura confides in Tony about her wealth and her feelings for Christian, expressing her fear of being infected and considering leaving. Just then, the kind man from lunch approaches to warn her that the locals are upset and want her gone. A heated argument erupts as Marta and Tony oppose Laura's departure, but an angry crowd soon surrounds them, demanding she leave. The family boards a ship together, and Marta mentions a friend in Tanzania who can offer refuge. They embark on a long journey, spotting other vessels fleeing as they sail. They survive by fishing and collecting rainwater. One night, they hear a cry for help and find a woman named Yolene adrift on a board. They pull her aboard and share their food. She reveals she has been lost for 6 days. Suddenly, a military ship approaches, and soldiers inform them that Libya is not accepting refugees, arresting the family and tethering their ship to theirs. The next morning, they are ordered to jump into the water and swim to shore. Despite their protests, they are pushed overboard. Yolene and the family swim to a beach with a memorial for migrants who perished at sea. They find a refugee camp where a crowd gathers around an army vehicle for food. Yolene bravely navigates the chaos to secure supplies for the family. Afterward, doctors conduct health checks, sorting people by nationality. Yolene is sent to the African tents while the family is placed with Europeans. A soldier informs them that contact with the mainland was lost 4 days ago and that only African citizens are being accepted. Laura tries to explain her donations to African charities, but the soldier states that it makes no difference. The family finds themselves trapped. While surveying her surroundings, Laura unexpectedly meets E, who tells her that poorer nations are faring well amid Europe's chaos. He advises her to find shelter and stay hidden until dawn. When he removes his mask, his teeth shine brightly. That night, Yolene and the family sneak away from the camp, hiding under some debris. Laura tries to apologize to Tony for their relationship's end, but he remains silent, prompting her to insist he show her his teeth. She learns they glow because he signed a contract overlooked by Christian, making him the heir to Laura's wealth. They step outside to talk, and as Laura cries, Tony urges her to protect their daughter. Suddenly, two men appear, knocking out Marta and abducting Anna. Hearing her screams, Tony and Laura chase after them. As they confront the men, Laura is quickly overpowered, leaving Tony to fight both attackers. He manages to subdue one but is stabbed in the process. In desperation, Laura pushes Tony aside and crushes the assailant's head with a rock, then turns to the other attacker, delivering the same brutal treatment, shocking her family with her ferocity. The next morning, they return to find the camp devastated. They team up with other survivors to build a large boat and set sail from the island. After days of heavy rain, they near the African coast when a patrol ship collides with their boat, capsizing it and throwing everyone into the water. Laura clings to debris, desperately calling for Anna, but gets no response. After drifting for a while, she and a few other refugees wash ashore on the African coast. With the police closing in, Laura quickly escapes through a tunnel in a massive wall. She hurriedly moves from one room to another, looking for a hiding spot, and encounters an elderly woman who kindly offers her some clothes. Now disguised as a local, Laura steps back onto the streets, and the soldiers fail to recognize her. She returns to the beach, where she finds a group of locals dedicated to rescuing refugees. While Anna and Yolene are safe, Marta has tragically died, and Tony remains missing. The refugees are loaded onto a truck and endure a long journey, piled together for days. After a brief stop for food and water, they must continue on foot. Eventually, they arrive at a beach where people are gradually constructing a new village. The refugees are required to place their personal belongings into a communal bowl for everyone to use, and Laura reluctantly parts with her cherished watch. From that moment on, Laura and the girls must adapt to living off the land and contributing to the community. One evening, Laura spots a woman wearing her watch and decides to follow her to propose a trade. She wants to swap the watch for some beautiful shells the woman has been collecting. As she smiles, her teeth start to gleam brighter.